All right, let me go. I'm going to go ahead and get going because nobody's here to hear me talk anyway. They're here to hear my colleagues say lots of interesting things. But I will start off by giving some housekeeping notes about this morning. I just also wanted to let people know, if you're not familiar with this already, that we're running these parent sessions all year, and we started these last year. There are three different types of sessions that we do. One is the Mustang Connections that you're joining this morning. And these are just giving an opportunity for parents in a division to connect with the administrators, teachers of that division, just to get updates on things. And by the way, if you hear about other divisions who are doing these connections, you don't have to be a parent in that division to actually attend it. So please attend whatever you'd like. We also do these No Value Care Partner series, and these are generally run by our colleagues, and they address things like parenting in the digital age, substance abuse, social emotional wellness, things like that. And then, of course, we have the ASIJ 2030 sessions. Those are generally outside professionals, authors who we invite to come in and speak about education and the future of education. I know that the last one we did with Ilka Hansen was very popular. And a little bit later in the chat screen, I will go ahead and put a link to that recording if you'd like to revisit that. With regards to housekeeping notes, this morning we've got 60 minutes set aside. That's the maximum time that we'll set aside for this. We won't go over that, but we may go under it depending on how many questions we get. If you have questions at any time during the session, please try using the Q&A function at the bottom there. It should not be anonymous. I'll just make sure of that in a moment. And if you see questions that have already been asked that are your questions, there's a little upvote thing, and you can click on that. And again, just go ahead and ask questions at any time. I'll be monitoring the Q&A function and try to insert your question at an appropriate point. And I am in charge of IT at the moment, I guess. So if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. So please. Please cut me some slack ahead of time. And on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Christy, who can tell us about what we're going to go over this morning and also introduce our colleagues.
Great, thanks, Clive. Good morning, everyone. Let me change the slide so you have something interesting to look at. Our theme today for our talk is 2 campuses, 1 ASIJ. So you've seen this in the Mustang Bulletins, which I know you all read studiously. And it's really something that makes what we do really special. 2 campuses. We've got our Early Learning Center, and there I'm showing just a few of the things that have happened in the past 2 weeks. Earlier this week, we had our Halloween parade and activities in the classroom. Great opportunity for families and children to be together. Yesterday, Fall Family Festival was so well attended, and it was a wonderful time for everyone. And it's just a few of the things that make our campus location and our ability to focus on early years really special for you and for your children. Being part of one ASIJ also offers a lot of opportunities. I highlighted 2 photos there that are focused on the children. 2 weeks ago, our kindergartners came out to explore campus. They saw the middle school musical preview. They walked campus. They checked out the playground, had lunch, just to start those transition opportunities for them to get to know the larger campus. And the photo at the bottom, we are doing a partnership with the grade 6 design tech classes. And in the screen, you can see a little iPad. That's a 6th grader interviewing our kindergartners. Again, ways that the kids can connect with our larger campus community. But beyond that, there's a lot of opportunities, not only for the children, but for our families. And the resources and expertise that ASIJ brings is incredible. Learning, growth, development at this age and beyond go well beyond the classroom and the activities that we're doing day to day. We talk a lot about holistic development. We talk a lot about experiential learning, moving beyond the classroom. We talk a lot about social emotional development. And we talk a lot about parent partnerships. And so the three people that I want to introduce today to be with us we'll walk through some of the things that are going to be happening for you, your families, opportunities you can take advantage of, or people that you can reach out to if you have questions. So we'll hear from McShane, who's our counselor, Claire Salinas, who's our Director of Service Learning, and Emily De Leon, who's our Director of Safeguarding. This is our first, as Clive said, this is our first time trying to do this all virtually, and we'll post the video. We'll see how it goes, but it's one of those efforts where if we leverage the digital, we're able to take advantage of these connections and share with all of you. So with that, let me switch. Here's the three folks that we'll hear from, and I will hand it over to them in this order. Our first speaker, guest partner will be Claire Salinas.
Thank you ever so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm really looking forward to working with more of you in the future. A little bit about me, who I am as a person. I've been in Changemaker education for about 20 years, been an international school teacher for about 23 years. I'm brand new in your community, really excited to be here as an educator and also as a parent. I have a 10th grade boy. He's there, that British boy just there playing American football. He is absolutely loving being part of our community here at ASIJ. I also have a daughter who's there playing rugby. She's still in Singapore with her dad, who's also a teacher, finishing up her senior year in high school. So it's a bit of a funny year for me, but it's a fantastic year, and I'm so happy to be at ASIJ. And I can't wait till my fur babies come soon as well. So they're still in Singapore as well. I'm as a child, went to lots of international schools. I'm very privileged to have been to schools like ASIJ. So I really do feel that understanding the perspective of you as a family at a school like ASIJ, and also I've got that child perspective as well as to what life can be like at a school like this. So the Director of Service Learning, what is service learning and what can service learning add to your child's life? Well, obviously I'm biased because I'm the Director of Service Learning, but I'm going to say a lot. What's fantastic about service learning and really makes me so happy that my career has taken this direction, I was originally a humanities teacher, middle school and high school, and I've done a lot of academic teaching in the geography, social studies, human rights kind of world. And about 15 years ago, there was an opportunity for me to do a global issues course when I was in ISKL in Malaysia. And this was an explore course. And I thought this could be really exciting. I don't want to teach doom and gloom. I really would like to fill kids' Changemaker toolkits so that they have the tools and the skills to be able to look at the world around them, which is complex and confusing, and make a positive impact. So I worked with other colleagues and we created a Be the Change course. And that was a real moment for me in my educational experience as a teacher. Those students were so empowered. We didn't dummy down the issues, but we gave the issues, the global issues, to the students in a really developmentally appropriate way. And I started thinking, I wonder if this could be impactful right from the beginning of a child's education. What does this look like in the early years? Is this something that can go right the way through a school? And it really can. There's so much learning and reciprocity to come, and so much amazement of the world and the planet around them in your child's age group. They love the world. They want to know, value, and care. They want to feel empowered. They want to be part of a team. They want to be a change maker. So I'm so fortunate that I'm here as a full-time Changemaker service learning coach, really excited to work with you. If you're in the field of advocacy or environmental sustainability or philanthropy, do reach out to me because I really want to learn from you and with you. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Creating change makers is such an exciting and dynamic experience for your teachers, for myself, and for your children. There's so many connections happening. There's so many magic, deep learning already in the curriculum for your child. And I'm so excited to be able to work with the educators and see if we can leverage those into real world problem solving, staying in the hopeful domain, because that's developmentally appropriate at this age level. The world's amazing. What can we do to protect it? How can we advocate? Whose voices aren't heard? Let's do something about that. I want to just dig a little deeper, do you like the pun, into the Sweet Potato Project, just to show you behind the curtains a little bit what service learning looks like when you pause to really see what's there. Okay, so the kids had an amazing time. It was experiential. They went outside of the classroom. Okay, let's dig a little bit deeper. They also thought about waste systems. They also thought about biodiversity and the value of bugs. They also learned about permaculture. They also learned about soil. They also learned about the value of food. They also learned about teamwork. They also considered, what can we do with these leaves? This isn't waste, is this food? What can we do with these vines? How can we have a zero waste experience? They also shared different ways of cooking their potatoes. So there's cultural diversity. And you'll be really pleased to know that today we have an amazing change maker coming to Chofu to collect the potatoes, to take them to the children's cafe so that that food goes onto children's plates who need some food. So service learning is deep, it's multifaceted, and it's just an amazing way to bring the global goals. You can see that dial spinning there. I hope it's not putting you off, but I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can inspire your change maker using the global goals from the United Nations. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, I've peppered a couple of tools here for you. The global goals are an amazing way to inspire your change makers, and it gives us as educators a common language to move around as we are bringing to life real world problem solving in your child's learning at ASIJ, and how they can lean in and make a difference in the world around them. That might be in their own behaviors. It might be within their classroom, hopefully within your family, and then those circles of care and spheres of influence will increase. But you can inspire your change maker by asking them to look through their global goals glasses and look at the world around them and see, for example, what's your favorite 3 goals as a family? That's a really, really interesting conversation. From my experience in this age group, many kids are really, really interested in the planet around them. They're wow at the oceans. They're wow at the biodiversity. They're wow at the forests. They're look at these bugs. And so I've just put there a cluster of the goals, the Earth preconditions, for you to have a little play in and see if that's marrying up with your child's passions and experiences and questions about the world around them and their place as a steward of that world. So how they can make behaviors to help the climate, and what's underneath the ocean, and life on land tend to be the 3 global goals that children of this age really, really are excited about taking action on. I also put for you there the Go Goals Sustainable Development link and 170 daily actions you can take as a family to make a difference in the world around you. Have a play with those resources. The Climate Action Superhero resource is so interesting and bright and rich and hopeful. Gives you lots of practical discussion points with your child to be a change maker. And I'm really excited and honored to work with the team of educators to bring this alive within the classroom as well. So look out for change maker language coming home, and yeah, you've got me to blame for that, and I'm very pleased about it. Do reach out to me. My email address is there at the bottom. If you're in this field of work or you're really excited about inspiring your change maker, I would love to hear from you and learn from you and work with you.
Great. Thank you, Claire. And Claire's email is there, or you can reach out to me if you'd like it later. Claire will be working with our teachers and with our kids, and we really look forward to it. Let me see if I can switch the screen. Okay, and I will hand over to I.
Good morning, everybody. My name is McShane. I'm one of the 3 counselors for the elementary school division, and I'm just really happy to have this opportunity to be on this call today. I just wanted to take a moment to share a little bit about myself personally as well as professionally. This is my 4th year at ASIJ, and for the past 3 years, I've been at the high school as a personal and academic counselor. And although I really enjoyed working with the older students, most of my experience has been with elementary and middle school age children. And I just really missed working with the younger kids. So I kind of made that decision to make the switch. And I've been really happy about the decision I made. And so far, it's been a wonderful year. Professionally, I have a master's in social work, and I have been a licensed psychotherapist for, I don't know, 17 years, since 2005. And until my family and I moved to Japan in 2019, I worked in New Jersey and New York in various therapeutic settings. I've worked as a therapist in psychiatric group homes, therapeutic schools, children's hospitals, and I also was a consultant for Child Protective Services in New Jersey. Moving on to my personal background, I was born in Japan, and when I was 6 months old, we moved to New Jersey for my father's job, and what was supposed to be a 3 to 5 year expat stay was extended several times, and before you knew it, I was graduating from high school in New York. And, growing up culturally, everything within my household was Japanese. But, the minute I stepped out, everything was, exposure to American life. And even though I was exposed to both, I definitely identified more strongly with my American side, and my exposure to Japanese language and culture was really limited to whatever was happening within the house, and also a few hours of Japanese school on Saturday. So I spent all my life up until high school in that environment, and when it came time for college, it was really important for my parents that I live in Japan, I get exposure to my heritage and my culture. So I ended up attending a university in Japan. And at that time, as like a 17-year-old, I was upset. However, I must say that I'm so thankful that my parents gave me that opportunity to kind of experience life in Japan. But right after I graduated, I still had a really strong pull and tie to my American side. So I did go back where, I followed my dream, got my master's, started a career as a therapist, got married, had children. And on the slideshow, the middle picture is of my family, my husband, Rory, and my 2 girls who also attend SIJ. Rissa is now in 6th grade, and Lena is in 3rd grade. That was a picture from this summer. For the first time in 3 years, we actually got to go back home. That's, down the Jersey Shore where I'm from. So that's a really great picture. I also added a picture of one of my dogs. I love dogs so much. That's my English Bulldog, Daisy. And again, she's at the beach because we spent so much of our time when we were in Jersey at the beach. And then I also had to add a picture from my recent trip to South Korea in October, where, as you can see, I am a huge BTS fan. So I got to go with my best friend from ASIJ, a girls trip, and we got to go to Korea. So I kind of had to add that picture. Okay, enough about me. If we can go to the next slide. I wanted to introduce the counseling program at the elementary school. So in addition to me, there's 2 other counselors, my colleagues, Phil Meehan, who was at the ELC last year. So currently this year, he works with grade 1 and 2. Jenny Ostermiller is currently working with grade 3 and 4. And this year I'm working with kindergarten and 5th grade. So as counselors, we get to move up with our cohort. So, if I start with a group of kids in kindergarten, I'll get to have them for 6 years, all the way until they transition to middle school. So, that model really enables us to really get to know the kids and the families. So this year I have KN5 as my 5th graders move up. Next year, I'll take on a new cohort of kindergartners, and I will be working with kindergarten and 1st grade. So although I'm based out of Chofu, I do get to visit the ELC every other Monday. It's been such a fabulous opportunity and experience so far. And, the last few visits, I've just really focused on being in the classrooms, getting to know the kids, getting to know the teachers. And throughout the year, I'm going to continue to do that. And hopefully I'll get to spend more time with kids individually, as well in small groups. And also a part of being a counselor at ASIJ, we do teach social emotional learning. And so if we can kind of get to the next slide. So SEL, right? I think this is a word that you've heard very much so throughout the last few years, but SEL stands for social emotional learning. And I must say that in addition to skills, academic skills such as reading and math, SEL skills are also so important. Research really shows that emotional learning, social emotional learning helps kids to develop skills that are really essential for school and then beyond life beyond school, right? So with SEL, kids learn to manage their own emotions and behaviors. They also learn to show empathy and care for others. They, develop healthy relationships. They learn to solve problems effectively, communicate assertively, and really to make responsible decisions. And, there's so much research behind the importance of SEL, and, students who are emotionally competent have healthier relationships. And that means that they are more likely to feel connected to school and friends and the whole community. And it really does set them up for success in all facets of school life and beyond. SEL is something that really continues all the way from, ELC kinder up until middle school and high school. And as the kids get older, the way that we deliver SEL is going to look different, but it's something that will continue throughout their entire schooling at ASIJ. I think I'm about up in time, so I just kind of wanted to really thank you again for giving me this opportunity. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I think email is going to be the best way, and my email is on the slides. And my next ELC visit is actually going to be this upcoming Monday. So I'm usually kind of at the front door, just really eager to meet everybody. So if you see me, please stop by, introduce yourselves. I really would love the opportunity to get to see you soon in person. So again, if you're there on Monday, please come on and say hi. And Christy, I'll send it back to you.
Great, thanks, Yeah, and so Monday I will be there, and please come and introduce yourself. Let her know what grade and your name of your child. I works with our kindergarteners primarily, but she works with all of the classes and with all of the teachers. And so when she comes on Mondays, up and down the 3 floors, interacting with the kids, it's wonderful to have her. Next, I will introduce Emily, who is our safeguarding director and also spends some time at the ELC. And so I will pass it on to Emily. Emily, tell me as you want me to switch.
Okay. Hi. Can you all hear me okay? Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily De Leon. I'm excited to meet you this morning. So just a little bit about me. I'm originally from California, actually not too far from Christy, and also then ended up on the East Coast at some point, which also Christy did. I love that we have that in common because not a lot of people are from kind of the area of California that we're from, and then go over to the East Coast and then end up in Japan. So I love that bond. I started in education, working in learning support, and then from there went to law school. And I've actually been a practicing lawyer for about the last 10 years. My husband had the chance to come to ASIJ last year for a great job opportunity. So we moved here. I started just working remotely, and then this position became available at ASIJ, and I was so excited. I absolutely love it. It's a wonderful combination for me of different things I care about, working directly with students, working with administrators, working with counselors, and really just kind of doing everything we can to support our families and students at ASIJ. I feel really lucky because I think I'm one of the people that truly gets to work with like everybody and know almost every name across the school. And so for me, it's a great fit, and I'm really excited to be here. You are absolutely welcome to reach out to me anytime. My contact info is here, and I may have met some of you. I wanted to say that as well as a parent, because last year when I was working remotely, I went to several parent events. So if this isn't your first year, we might have connected that way. I also have my own 2 kiddos at the school, Sam, who's in grade 1, and Leo, who is in grade 4. And this picture on the screen is us at Hamilton this summer in New York, which Leo described as the greatest day in his life. And Sam, we were proud that he sat through the whole show. So that is a little bit about me. We can go on to the next slide. So I wanted to just take a minute and explain what we mean by safeguarding at ASIJ, because it might be a term that not everybody is familiar with, especially if you're new to ASIJ or if you're coming directly from the US or somewhere else, because it isn't a term that's used necessarily universally. So what we mean by that is really having someone at the school whose job is to make sure that students and families are safe. And what we mean by that is both physical and emotional. And those 2 pieces for me are equally important and take my energy and time. So a few examples just to kind of highlight it would be when students feel that they don't have a sense of belonging at school, or they don't feel emotionally safe. That's something that would come to the person in my role. So that might be whether it's peer on peer, some sort of bullying or some sort of unsafe situation that's really beyond kind of the normal discipline or behavioral issues that we know can be age appropriate. It could also be because the student is part of a group that might be historically marginalized or might be a minority group at the school, whether that's race or cultural identity or gender identity. And so we want to make sure that all students feel a sense of belonging, that they can be their authentic selves, and that the school supports that and has both the physical and kind of emotional space for that. And so those are the kind of things that I get to work with the counselors, the administrators, and parents to make sure that we're successful with. Sometimes the safety can be more physical, and it can be the student and the family experiencing a lack of safety, whether it's at school, on the bus, or at home. It could be a situation between siblings. It could be a situation between parents that a student, their perception is just a feeling of lack of safety. And so my job is to really partner with families to get us to a point where everyone's feeling safe and that they can be themselves and thrive and focus at school. So I'm thankful Christy let me join this, because I think safeguarding, one, most people don't know what it means. I think my family doesn't even quite know what I do. There isn't a good elevator pitch for the job. And 2, it also can sound a bit scary, like, what did we do wrong, or what did my student do wrong that the safeguarders contacting us? And so I just want everyone, this is the face. Please don't feel defensive. Please, just know that I'm here as a support. And if you get an email or a call from me, no one's in trouble. And I'm really coming with the best, of intentions in that conversation. A couple of great things that we do proactively. Christy, we could go to the next one. for the Parent Partnership series. And so our next one is about stress management and just healthy habits, which for some early ELC families might feel we don't need that quite yet. But if you have older students, or honestly, some of them will just help us as adults, and things to be on the lookout as kids get older. And one really exciting thing about this one is we have high school students presenting. And so I think those are always more meaningful when it's students sharing as ASIJ students things that they've learned. And, you know, I just think rather than hearing us adults like guess what needs to be said, they're really bringing it from personal experience. And then our next one, which is next slide, I wanted to just talk about this one that we're hoping to do at the ELC in the spring in person. It would be about 4 sessions is usually how we do it. And I, who you just met, would be leading it, and I would be joining too, which is really to give like a space to talk about just challenges we all go through as parents, and what are some skills and goals and strategies that we can build. And this one is one that has been done before the pandemic. I think it was done maybe the 2020, and we tried it again last year at Chofu, but we really realized that's quite far for a lot of families to get to, especially for multiple sessions. So we've talked about moving it to the ELC, and also just because a lot of these topics come up really with younger kids, I think, so often. So these are things helping to deal with sibling rivalry, issues of defiance, and just giving you the tools to handle those situations and think about the kind of parenting style you have and what you want to, where you want to go with that. And we really try to create a safe space where we all can be kind of vulnerable with our own mistakes, and learn from each other. Honestly, what I promise, already one time this year, one of my kids said to me something like, "Aren't you the safeguarder? Don't you know how to do this, Mom?" When I was like having one of those parenting meltdown moments. So we all like benefit from just giving ourselves the time to be reflective, and it's hard to build in. And so we're hoping to do that in March at the ELC. So look out for that. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we always talk about ELC being a family. And when I welcome you into the ELC, our first message is you are joining the ELC family. And the ELC is part of the ASIJ family. And I think, you know, early years, it's so consuming. It's all consuming with the kids. They're going through so much. As parents, you're going through a new stage in your family life. There's all of these new things that the kids are bringing in terms of questions or behaviors or stages. And I'm so grateful to the 3 guests that we had today, because not only as individuals do they have those experiences as well with their children, professionally, they will be able to help and guide us as we go through those experiences currently at the ELC, but also as the kids move into 1st grade, 2nd grade, 4th grade, all the way through middle and high school. We have these amazing resources and amazing people at the school who are there for us. So Claire, Emily, thank you so much for joining today and for sharing not only a little bit about your background, I think that really helps us to connect, but also what you'll be doing with the children over the course of the year and beyond. And Clive, thank you for being our MC. Clive also has 2 children, but they're a little bit older. Yeah, so you can ask him questions and advice as well. So with that, I guess, what do we do, Clive? Not advice?
Well, I was actually looking at the parenting styles thing here. The reason I was laughing earlier is I saw authoritarian, the boss, giving orders, do it or else. And if I asked my kids which of these boxes do I fit in, I already know which one they would pick for that. We haven't had any questions come up on the screen yet, but if anybody has any questions, please do put them up there. Christy, love doing these sessions because I actually get to learn more about my colleagues. I'd never heard your bio before, so it's really nice to hear that. I've heard Emily and Claire lots of times, so didn't need to hear that. Again, and actually, I have a non-work related question. What is BTS? I'm sure I'm the only one here who doesn't know what that is, but what is it?
Really, Clive? Do you
Sorry.
live under a rock? It's
I could have Googled it, pretended like I was really with the in crowd, but go ahead, tell me.
It's a K-pop boy band that's like all over the world.
Okay,
And
got
yeah,
it.
I will send you a playlist.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
please.
one of Christy's daughter is definitely a fellow fan, so we have conversations about them all the
BTS
time.
fan.
Yes, Sochi and I are always talking about BTS. Now you know, Clive. Now you know.
Excellent.
Gonna get in your head, Clive. Just get ready.
I just realized when you said that Miranda Liu, our alumni coordinator in my office, is a big fan of the. Actually, I think if I'm correct, it's J-pop, not K-pop. So see, I know these things. Rachel has a question. If we can put this out there, new family DLC. And yes, I have to say also, Rachel, I agree with you that in doing these sessions too, it makes me realize even in the 3 years that I've been here, the kind of resources that we are adding as a school, I think it's phenomenal. Emily, you took over from a person who was here. She was the inaugural safeguarding coordinator, was here for several years. Claire, our brand new director of service learning. It's a new position here at the school. And all of these are so important to learning outcomes of our students at the school. How will we find out about these parent chats and meetings? As I started off, there are 3 different types of sessions that we do. These parent engagement series is what we call them, even though we also invite alumni to attend some of these sessions. The 2030 sessions you hear about through various means, the Mustang bulletin that we send out on Fridays, we'll have those. We don't actually have one planned at the moment. We've been thinking, and I know we're going to do this, which is why I'm saying this. We're going to be doing one. I went with several of my colleagues to Boston and New York several weeks ago, and part of that expedition was to visit the admissions offices of universities that our students tend to matriculate to, Brown, Harvard, NYU, various other places, to ask them about what they're looking for in students these days. And we really want to get that out to the community while it's fresh in our minds. So anyway, those come out in Mustang Bulletin and other ways. These sorts of sessions, and again, I had said these Mustang Connection things are divisional. And obviously, if you're in the ELC, you're going to hear about these from Christy, but we also send those out, and I'm going to make sure that we're doing that for other things when Mark LaRoe's doing it with elementary school and Pip and Amy for middle school and high school. So we'll get those out to you too. But in general, that's the way those things get communicated, is in the Mustang Bulletin. Yeah. I'm going to stop talking at this point. Christy, do you want to, if there's no more questions from anybody, I really appreciate everybody joining. I appreciate my colleagues being here. Christy, do you want to close it out for us?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined us. We'll post the link if other folks wanted to listen later. We usually have these in person or in a hybrid approach. So today was our first attempt at completely virtual, but completely virtual gave us the opportunity to have our 3 wonderful guests. They will be on campus at different times. I'll make sure you all know so you can say hello to them at pick up, drop off. We'll try to have some sessions for parents. And with that, I will say thank you. Emily, Claire, thank you. Clive, thank you for joining us and being our MC. And we'll say goodbye.